What is good, guys? What is good? I hope you're all having a happy Monday. Mondays are just great, right? You have to go to work. I didn't have to go to work today, but luckily I can just sit here and cook. We can talk football. But I want to talk about Cincinnati Bengals today, man. The Cincinnati Bengals. Crazy team, right? Like, it's pretty clear for all of us as fans. We all know they're extremely talented on the offensive side, right? Like, they got Chase Brown as running back, got Joe Burrow, one of the top four. I consider him arguably the best. I think that Joe Burrow may be the best out of all those four. Lamar, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. I pick Burrow. That's just me. Either of those guys, any team would want as a starter. We all know that. But I like Joe Burrow the best. There's just something about him that I don't know. Something different about that dude. People will sit and argue back and forth about which QB is better. Honestly, they're all winners. Like, all of them, all of them will literally just go like uplift your offense, right? Like, they're the type of guys where you can sit on any type of offense and they're going to make people better. Those are the type of quarterbacks those guys are. But for some reason, I just think Joe Burrow is better. And maybe if it's just a little bit, I don't know, man. Call me crazy. I just think that Joe Burrow is better. But here's where it kind of gets tricky, right? We all seen the dysfunction with the Cincinnati Bengals over the past year or two, right? Getting people signed, rookies not wanting to sign, just a lot of things going on. People wanting to leave, get traded, multiple players wanting to get traded.
Yo, you're not subscribed? Come on, man. Why you not subscribed? Be sure to drop a like on this video as well while you're at it. And be sure to follow me on Instagram. Drop any topic of discussion, any question in there. We can make a video on it. Even if you have a player, we can do some film review on them as well. All right, now let's get back to the video.
Cincinnati is just weird, right? And now you have this whole thing, people talking about Joe Burrow needs to go somewhere else. And honestly, I'm kind of on board with that. Even though their owner, who is a pretty stingy guy, and they're just like, no, we're not trading him. Like, no, we're not trading Joe Burrow. And like, who would want to trade Joe Burrow? That's your guy. You have one of the four GOAT starting quarterbacks, right? But it gets tricky because you got Joe Burrow and you have these two wide receivers, one who's arguably, depending on the year, not this year, but depending on the year, the best wide receiver in football, Jamar Chase. He's up there in the top 5 every season. It doesn't matter, right? Then you have T. Higgins on the other side. T. Higgins is really good. So it goes back to what I said. You got Chase Brown, you got Joe Burrow, you got T. Higgins, you got Jamar Chase. You got this stacked offense. And honestly, the offensive line this past year, I don't really think they played that bad, right? Because you go back to the 2021 season when they went to the Super Bowl. If the Cincinnati Bengals just have a decent, competent offensive line, literally middle of the pack, they're probably winning that Super Bowl, right? Like, they're probably winning that Super Bowl. Aaron Donald isn't lighting up, Joe Burrow back there. Jamar Chase is making that double move on Jalen Ramsey, throwing that deep pass. A lot of ifs. Maybe it doesn't happen. But if their offensive line was better in that Super Bowl, I'm feeling that they're going to win that game, right? Didn't happen. Rams end up winning it. But that just ties me back to what I was talking about. I'm going on a rant here. Their offensive line is, I honestly thought it was decent this last year. Like, I didn't think it was bad. And so you have this offense that scores a ton of points. And every single time I watch Cincinnati Bengals games, it feels like they're scoring 28 plus points, dude. And I know Joe Burrow got hurt, right? But once they brought in Flacco, it was like their offense was right back to scoring a ton of points. And you gotta credit Zach Taylor for that. You do have to credit Zach Taylor for that. I know Zach Taylor gets a lot of flack. A lot of people talk about him. They're like, hey, well, I don't know if Zach Taylor's the guy. It's mainly because of the defense. But I'm like, let's not act like offensive play callers in this league. Let's not act like that's an easy thing to find in today's league, because it's not. It's really not. So I think Zach Taylor has that going for him. Would he be on the hot seat this upcoming season if the defense is bad again? I'm sure he would. But the one thing for me was Zach Taylor, right? And I've criticized Zach Taylor at times, but I'm like, well, he's their play caller. And if you look at their offense, his side of the ball, they score a shit ton of points in Cincinnati. And you can credit Joe Burrow and those playmakers for that. But I'm like, but Joe Flacco was also in there, right? I've seen Joe Flacco in his long career on other teams with other OCs and head coaches. He was flourishing on the Cincinnati Bengals. You have to give Zach Taylor that credit. But then we talk about the defense, the other side of the ball, right? This is where it gets tough. This is where people start to talk about Joe Burrow. It's like they're doing him dirty. He needs to go somewhere else. He needs to be traded. The defense is so bad, bro. And like their DC, Al Golden, I know he went to Notre Dame, came back into the league. I have no idea why they have not fired him. I have no idea why that dude still has a job. I never want to see anybody ever lose their job, right? I never want to see that shit. But I'm like, Cincinnati's defense wasn't good again. Like they had another bad year. Now there were other defenses that were worse than Cincinnati this last year, but they're still not that good of a unit. And the crazy thing is about Cincinnati's defense is they have like a couple defensive players trickled in throughout their units, right? Like defensive line, linebackers, defensive backs with the safeties and corners. There's a couple players that just pop up and play really good ball, right? And so for that, I'm like, dude, they have a couple guys on the defensive side. But for whatever reason, you see this team when they go up against some of these better teams or even teams that are on the come up, their defense gives up so many points. And it's really just not sustainable. I mean, they've been doing it, but it's not sustainable for an offense with those guys, even though they're so talented, to have to go out there and score 28, 30 plus points per game. It's just not gonna work. So when you hear people talk about them failing Joe Burrow, some people talk about the offensive line, right? And I'm just like, I didn't think the offensive line was bad this year, unless I'm tripping. I watched Cincinnati games and I didn't think they were that bad. I thought they were like, I was like, they seem solid to me. They seem solid to me. Maybe maybe I didn't watch enough games. Cincinnati fans, maybe you guys can, contest to that. But like, from what I saw, the offensive line is not that bad. But the defense under Al Golden, I'm sure for that reason, people are going to start talking about Zach Taylor, him possibly being on the hot seat. But I'm like, bro, on his side of the ball, they're scoring so many points. The DC is the main focus. And I'm like, well, just with Cincinnati, you see everything that's going on. I'm like, can we get this man, Zach Taylor, some help? Because if the defensive side is shirted up and the defense is just middle of the pack, maybe outside of middle of the pack, a little bit lower, we're talking about a Super Bowl team. I'm not even kidding, dude. The only other thing, goddamn, I gotta slow down. The only other thing that would slow them down is Joe Burrow's health and just him getting hurt, which we have seen him get hurt. And Joe Burrow does need to stay healthy. Like, I'm gonna put that out there too. Joe Burrow does need to stay healthy for this team. I say that for every starting quarterback. If you can't be out there for your team, you're kind of a liability, right? Because you need to be out there along with keeping yourself healthy. And the crazy thing with Joe Burrow, a lot of his shit is it's like in the pocket from what I've seen, right? Like the turf toe, that's just tough. And the fact that he came back later in the year tells me everything that I need to know about Joe Burrow. Everything we already know about Joe Burrow, right? But he does need to stay healthy. But the defensive side needs to get figured out because we're talking about an extremely talented offense. They are so talented. And like I said earlier, I give credit to Zach Taylor. So you get this figured out on the defensive side, but keeping Al Golden? I never want to see a guy get fired. I never want to see that. Lots of these guys always end up getting other coaching jobs, so they have that going for them. But I'm like, we can't do better? Like, we can't do better on the defensive side? This offense is only going to be around so long. This core is only going to be around so long. We have to get this train going. We got to get the train going, man. I mean, you just look at it right now. Josh Allen has a new head coach. I mean, it's his offensive coordinator, so they should still be good, right? We'll see. We'll see. But, Lamar Jackson, he has a new head coach. Justin Herbert has a new OC. You just look at a lot of these quarterbacks in the AFC, man. Like, I mean, even Patrick Mahomes getting back Eric Bieniemy. You would assume it's going to be better, but you just don't know with some of these players getting older. So the Cincinnati Bengals, they have to capitalize now, man. And I just don't know if Al Golden being there, I don't know if that's the move. Like, we don't have a lot of time here. It's not like we have a young QB that we're trying to figure out if he's good or not. No, you had your core. They're set in stone. So figure this out. And Al Golden being there, I'm like, You can't convince me that his defense is going to be better this year. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Cincinnati's defense is better this upcoming year. But right now, I'm like, we couldn't do better there, I don't know. You guys let me know what you think down in the comments. Be sure to drop a like. Be sure to subscribe to your boy. Yeah, man. I don't know. Appreciate you watching. It's your boy Shitty Luke, and I'm outie. Deuces.